Hey everybody, this is Doa, and yeah, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since I've done a VOD for my YouTube channel, and I'm pretty excited to be able to do that again. I know it's been a while, I've been busy with like MLG and Clash of the Houses and all that, but I'm back from all that. I finally got some time, and there's a replay that I've been kind of sitting on for a while. Actually, I didn't even have access to it because it was on my laptop, and I left my AC adapter for my laptop in Korea, so I had to wait until Torch brought it to me at MLG. So thank you to Torch, first of all, because we would never have seen this replay without him. This is actually a replay that White Raw gave me during the World Championships when all those guys were there at the GOM house. So without much further ado, let's just kind of introduce our players and then we'll kind of get into the game a little bit. Kind of settle in for this one. It's going to be a little bit of a longer one. So this will be fun from both sides, but I've heard it's a good game. I've been told that it was by White Raw, so I definitely trust his judgment as far as that stuff goes. So we'll kind of see what happens. But anyway, here we have our Zerg player. It says check raise here, but this is actually none other than Dimaga. That's right, the Zerg Ukrainian beast himself. He is spawning as our red Zerg player up in the upper left part of TalDarim altar, and his opponent, of course, as you guess, is probably going to be White Raw. It says Liquid Huck, but it is actually White Raw. Let me just explain this, and I'll put it in the description and everything, and I've actually changed the overlay up top so you can see it and not kind of be worried about it. My computer's kind of freaking out a little bit here. It's been acting a little bit weird since I've gotten back from Korea, but whatever. Hopefully it won't impact the game too much. But yeah, White Raw is using one of Huck's accounts. Huck was generous enough to let him do that while he was in Korea, and this account is the account of someone else's who is in Korea and let Dimaga use it as well. So Dimaga is a Zerg, White Raw is a Protoss. You don't see their names there on the map, but don't let it worry you too much. And look at this, Dimaga actually going for a hatch first. Very interesting. That's always a little bit risky to do against Protoss, and White Raw getting his forge as well. I'm wondering if he's going to try some sort of cannon shenanigans. We saw what MC did to Idra when Idra hatched first on this map in GSL. No, not GSL, I'm sorry, MLG. Just recently, it looks like White Raw, with that probe positioning, may be thinking of doing some sort of pylon cannon action. There's the first pylon. Second pylon goes down. And what is White Raw going to do next? Looks like Dimaga's trying to patrol that drone, make sure White Raw can't put any cannons there, anything like that. White Raw instead going to respond with a couple more pylons. And he could, yes, he's going to wall himself in right here. I don't believe that the Zerglings can get in now with these 4 cannons. Oh, never mind, they can. The probe sees that. Another pylon going down. This is a ton of pylons by White Raw. Wow. Dimaga forced to pull a lot of drones off the line there. Come on, computer, get with it. Seriously. Wow. Alright, so anyway, a couple more cannons going down for White Raw. Drones obviously not able to get in on this cannon. A lot of pylons finishing here. This is probably the most ambitious cannon rush that I've ever seen in my entire life. Obviously, these guys play against each other all the time, so you can bet there's going to be lots of craziness here and there. Whoa, the probe not getting away. Dimaga taking it out right there. The cannon's getting so close to finishing, though. White Raw's pool is done. Here comes some Zerglings. And are the cannons going to be able to take him out? I don't know. Yeah, the cannon's already pretty low. So it looks like Dimaga's probably going to be okay. Here's the last photon cannon. Going down now. Spinecrawler just finishing as well. So in the end, I mean, the result of this really is that White Raw used quite a few resources to build all these pylons. A couple cannons didn't really do any damage at all, other than killing just a couple drones, a couple Zerglings, so not a big deal at all. Here's the expansion now going down for White Raw. It's going to be a little bit later, of course, because the amount he spent trying to cannon rush Dimaga. So Dimaga with just really good drone control early on, able to kind of delay the pylons that White Raw was going to put down, give time for the links to come out. So already really nice play from Dimaga there, getting his first gas as well. And you know, I still maintain that it's just really risky and not really worth it at all to go hatch first against Protoss. But you know, there are some Zergs out there like Dimaga that just feel really confident in their drone management and in their, you know, Zergling management, that they can handle things like that, because almost certainly if you do that hatch first, you are going to be cannon rushed. It's pretty much inevitable if you're playing against a pretty decent Protoss. If they don't, it's kind of like a merciful thing. And here comes some more Lings in for Dimaga. They're going to surround and take out that cannon relatively quickly. He should be able to just barely get it. Yeah, finishing it off with just 4 Zerglings left. And Dimaga not going to be able to cause a whole lot of damage with this. But that is a pylon finishing, not another cannon. So right now, no offensive units at all out right now for White Raw. He's going to need to micro those probes very, very carefully. More Lings out as well, and Dimaga really putting some pressure on White Ra early in the game. It's nothing that's going to kill White Ra outright, but it is certainly very annoying to deal with. You can see he's losing a lot of mining time on these probes. He doesn't have any sort of gateways or anything in his main base, excuse me. And their one probe does go down, but with the first Zealot out, it looks like these Zerglings' days are more or less numbered. Cybercore and another cannon going down, so it looks like White Ra will basically stabilize. Meanwhile, back at the base of Dimaga, 2 gas right away. Whoa, what is this? And a really fast lair from Dimaga. Now this is really interesting. Wow, White Ra wasn't kidding at all, was he? Huh, so 4 very fast gas from Dimaga, only less than 7.5 minutes into the game. Well, about 7.5 minutes. And a really quick lair for Dimaga, so I'm really curious to see what he's planning on going for. I mean, Zerg does have a lot of options against Protoss these days. This is a little bit older replay, but really during the World Championships is where I saw a lot of those more common ZvP strategies start to develop. The Baneling drops, the getting Burrow before Roach speed sometimes you see. And yeah, a lot of that was being developed by those guys at the GOM House during the World Championship. So this is one of those games where Dimaga is really kind of trying to try something new here, I guess you could say. He's still got a Zergling in White Ra's base, getting Zergling speed as well, and a really fast Spire for Dimaga. Wow, somebody's been watching Sen play lately. Actually, those guys were talking a lot about Sen's play. Oh, another hit expansion going down for Dimaga as well. And look at this, a Zergling still in the base of White Ra. Are you kidding me? Dimaga, you're so good. Really, I mean, what we're watching right now is really 2 of the best players from the Ukraine. White Ra and Dimaga, of course, from the Ukraine, and both extremely good. So this Zergling will pretty much live forever. And, man, my computer is just being stupid. I almost consider casting this on my laptop. This is just kind of annoying, but hopefully it doesn't turn out too bad in the final edit, I guess you could say. So Dimaga really getting a good idea of what White Ra has going in his base. But yeah, what we were saying earlier about Sen likes to do a style with a lot of mutas and a lot of spine crawlers. You can see the spine crawlers going down for Dimaga. That Zealot barely getting in there from White Ra. He will be able to do some scouting. Oh, is that Zealot going to see the Spire? That would actually be huge if he did. Whoa, this Zealot wandering around, trying to figure out what to do right now. There is still a Zergling in his base, causing a little bit of a nuisance. And this Zealot, is he going to see the Spire? That's the big question right now. Moving into the back of the base, I think he will. There's nothing that's going to stop him at this point. Here he comes right now, and he does see the Spire. There it is. So White Ra knows something a little bit funky is going on right now. Dimaga cleaning up that Zealot very quickly. His 3rd hidden expansion is up and running, and I don't believe White Ra spotted that yet. Let me just select one of White Ra's units. Nope, he has not selected it quite yet at all. And White Ra is doing something a little bit interesting himself as well, going for a bit of a Blink build here. And going Forge Expand into Blink Stalkers, which is a transition that you don't quite see as often as you would see something like a Stargate. That's, I guess, what you see most often lately against the Forge Expand, but White Ra changing things up a little bit. And look at this. Already 9 mutas out on the field, +1 attack for the Flyers is being researched by Dimaga. So he might be able to cause a pretty decent amount of damage to White Ra. Whoa, and a Dark Shrine going up as well. Now the thing is White Ra will have a lot of Stalkers once he starts warping those in. So with Blink, that could do pretty well. I mean, there's only 9 mutas. When it comes to huge numbers, mutas, of course, do a lot better than Stalkers. But, you know, White Ra's going to have Blink. He's going to have a good amount of Stalkers. And, I don't know, we're going to have to see how much damage White Ra, or Dimaga rather, can do. Yeah, Dimaga does have to pull back right there. So not a whole lot yet. White Ra probably going to put some pressure on his opponent. There it is. There's a forward pylon. Probably going to see some DTs warped in there once the Dark Shrine is finished. And what does Dimaga have to detect that right now? I don't really see a whole lot. He does not have an Evolution Chamber. Does not have any Overseers out on the map quite yet either. So I think Dimaga actually might be in a bit of trouble once those Dark Templars come out. He's really building a huge Mutalisk count. This is most definitely that build that I've seen Sen do quite a bit, especially while he was at the GOM House. Just lots of Spine Crawlers, lots of Mutalisks, just trying to kind of overwhelm your opponent with that. And look at this, there's a probe sneaking away from the forward pylon that's just been completed. Oh, nice blink under the mutas. Looks like White Ra will almost get one of them, but doesn't actually get any. And suddenly, the Stalkers are trapped a little bit away. But with the warp in, White Ra should be just fine. Dimaga trying to take out some of those Stalkers, and he might be able to get a couple, but his mutas are taking a lot of damage. At this point in the game, it's a little bit easier for White Ra to replace those Stalkers than it is for Dimaga to replace those Mutalisks. So Dimaga, you know, will be able to kill a couple of them, but he did lose, you know, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 mutas. Overall, not too bad, really. Now White Raw will be blinking across to try to clean out the rest of the Mutalisks. Dimaga does need to make a bit of a run for it. And meanwhile, I keep waiting for those DTs, but yeah, Dimaga chased away down to just 5 Mutas. So he did say take some losses. I mean, when you're going that mass Muta style, one of the big things with that is conservation. You don't want to lose any more than you have to. So Dimaga maybe being a little bit cavalier with those Mutalisks, losing a couple of those. Another hidden expansion from Dimaga as well. Very interesting, but look at this. 5 DTs out on the map right now for White Rod. Did he see that expansion? He did. Okay, so White Rod does know about that now. Dimaga, though, looks like he's getting ready for a pretty big push. But here come the Dark Templar into the third hidden base of Dimaga. I'm a little bit under the weather today, too, so sorry if I'm a little bit off. This is just not the best timing at all for me to be casting something. But hey, I wanted to anyway. Casting is fun, so here you go. DTs, though, really wreaking havoc at the base of Dimaga. This is not pretty at all. Dimaga has absolutely nothing to detect this with. That is not good at all. There is a Spore Crawler going down, but is it going to get up in time? Right now, the Dark Templars just pretty much doing basically whatever they want to Dimaga's base. Oh, this one did find the drones. Look out! Oh, no. The humanity, not the one with gas, no. Oh, but it's too late. That's just kind of how it goes. The life of a drone is a very hard life indeed, especially when you can't see who's killing you. Spore Crawler does finish. Dimaga will be able to chase away a couple of these DTs with the Lings and the Mutas, but no, ooh, the DTs staying out of range of those Spore Crawlers. There it is right now. And I keep waiting for the Dark Templars. Okay, it looks like there might have been one in Dimaga's main as well. They're kind of hard to spot on the minimap on a huge map like TalDarim Altar. No Overseers yet for Dimaga right here. There's one finally coming in right now. Looks like that did have to be canceled. And no, I'm sorry, it was actually destroyed, I believe. So those bases were definitely taken down, obviously, because we just saw that happening. And it looks like White Raw versus Dimaga is shaping up to be a little bit of a longer game. Here comes a big push, though, from Dimaga. He might be able to deny this third, but there is a pretty big army for White Raw waiting for him. Nice blink micro from White Raw right now, keeping those Stalkers alive. A lot of mutas, though, for Dimaga, but it looks like he will need to pull back. Oh, losing the Overseer as well. That is never a good thing, especially when you've got DTs running around your base as well. Scared the creep out of those Overlords. Can't blame him. Although Overlords really don't have anything to worry about from Dark Templars until they get the flight upgrade or something like that. How about that? Flying DTs. Although I suppose you can just call those Banshees. A little bit different, but you get the idea. So Dimaga right now on 3 bases. He did lose his 2 expansions. In terms of supply, Dimaga quite a bit behind right now. 134 to 95. This is actually a really, really dangerous situation for Dimaga. When the Zerg is on equal bases with the Protoss, and especially when the Protoss has a much bigger army, that is about the time you want to start worrying if you are a Zerg player. Now 54 Harvesters to 72, so White Raw is ahead on the Harvester count as well. So Dimaga basically having to play defensive this game. He is using a style that's a little bit foreign to him. You know, like I mentioned, this is something that everybody was kind of watching Sen do, so some of the Zerg players were kind of giving it a try. Oh, another DT in the natural in the third base of Dimaga there, causing a lot more damage. A lot of probes getting taken out by these DTs of White Raw. They've been extremely successful. Okay, there it finally does go down. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of the Zerg players in the GOM house were experimenting with a lot of different builds and just kind of trying to see, you know, kind of what they could do. White Raw getting Protoss Shields level 1, that's a very interesting upgrade to get, especially with the Twilight Council. Okay, so he is getting the armor level 1 as well, so maybe the upgrade just a little bit behind for White Raw in this game. He's moving out with an army of Stalkers. Not sure if he wants to push quite yet. Looks like he's kind of changing his mind there. A couple more Spine Crawlers going down as well as a Spore Crawler. So ideally these will be able to take care of any DTs that try to wander their way into the base of Dimaga. He does have +3 weapons right now. White Raw taking a 4th base as well. I'm sorry, did I say +3? I meant +1 flyer weapons right now. There it is. Alright. So what else does Dimaga have planned for us here? It is a couple more Spine Crawlers, and I see an Ultra Cavern on the production queue, getting some Infestors as well. So Dimaga is moving a little bit more into kind of Dimaga-styled Zerg at the moment. Observer for White Raw, seeing that the bases have indeed been rebuilt. And the nice thing that Dimaga is doing here is he's really kind of forcing White Raw to spread out, and that not only kind of keeps Dimaga safe from the big army that White Ra has right now, but it also gives him the opportunity to get that economic lead, especially where he is kind of behind at the moment as well. White Ra about 50 supply, about 40 supply ahead at the moment. Warp Prism from White Ra. He loves those Warp Prisms, dropping off a couple DTs to cause some damage here. Not a lot of drones to kill to begin with, and never mind, a bunch of them just spawned. So Dimaga will be losing a decent amount of drones there. Whoops. Another drone released at that third base as well, but there is a Spore Crawler there. And that, combined with the Spine Crawlers, will at least keep that base safe, but this hatchery is probably going to go down again. A couple Zerglings doing some scouting for Dimaga. They will see that base right there. And let's see how things are going at this base again. Yeah, okay, so that hatchery does go down for the second time this game. No luck at all for Dimaga. And it's probably going to take quite a while for the, for those, oh no, wow, what? The DTs kill Larva in one hit. That is actually really interesting, because Larvas have like 10 armor, I think it is, or something like that. It's kind of crazy. Let's check it out. Yeah, armor 10. So I suppose, yeah, I suppose the DTs still would kill that. Never mind. Kind of silly of me to say that, but I'm feeling rather silly today. Nice blink in by White Ra. A lot of Spine Crawlers are going to get taken out here, and Dimaga doesn't have a whole lot to defend against this right now. He might just go ahead and sacrifice this expansion. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. White Ra trying to catch a couple more mutas. He does catch the Overseer, but most of the mutas for Dimaga do get away. Now, meanwhile, back at the base of Dimaga, what does he have? He's got a couple Overseers here floating around the map, keeping vision. He's got a couple Infestors as well. He has a couple Ultralisks. Those Ultras are 2-2 right now. So they do have some decent upgrades. Ooh, the lucky drones. This one's like, I'll never let go. Hold my hand forever. Let's not become hatcheries. But we'll have to see what Dimaga has planned for those guys. In the meantime, White Ra with a pretty large army right now. Supply count not too far ahead for White Ra. Only about 20 supply, but that is pretty scary. And look at this White Ra playing very, very passively this game as well. Interesting move by White Ra, letting those DTs do some scouting first of all before he decides to kind of move in and try to do any damage. White Ra is, of course, on 4 bases right now to the 3 of Dimaga. So Dimaga definitely at a big disadvantage at the moment, despite having a pretty beefy army. Now, the one thing Dimaga can do is just what we're seeing right now. He can at least fly around the map, take out some pylons, things like that. But White Ra, you know, I feel like when he wants to move in, he might be able to take this out. The thing is that fungal growth plus Ultralisks against Blink Stalkers is actually pretty good for the Zerg. So I think that's what White Ra is kind of worried about. He did scout that out. You know, with the DTs, he knows the composition, so he needs to be very, very careful. He might try to blink up here. Blinky up to take out the Queen, and he's going to try to do some damage at the natural base of Dimaga. Here comes Dimaga, though. Fungal growth's going down on a lot of those Stalkers, and without being able to blink, these Ultras are going to absolutely tear them apart. Look at all the Stalkers being taken down by White Ra, trying to blink away as many as possible. But White Ra leaving with only about maybe half of the Stalkers that he came with, yet still he's going to try to press the attack. 2 more Ultras impossibly popping out of tiny little eggs, but it's going to be okay. They are going right after the Stalkers again. Fungal growth allowing him to kill a lot more of those Stalkers, and the you know, the amount for White Ra is definitely going down now.